Facebook, right, is a multi-tenanted suite of software. We can all, I don't, but we could all live in Facebook and we can exchange information with one another. In a real-time sense, we can exchange where we are, what we're doing, but we only keep our record there, and once I update my record, everybody that I've joined or allowed to join my network have that information, right? In the past, for those old enough to remember, a lot of software out there was single-tenanted. So it did a really good job of knowing who I was, but it failed to know who all my customers and suppliers were. And that's a real drama when we do what we do today, and that is take our core business and concentrate on that, and take our non-core business, logistics being one of those, and give it to somebody that it is their core business. So we get the economies, we get their professionalism, we get all of those great things, but we then want to understand how they're performing for both ourselves and our customers. And so then we start to try and break apart technology, and that's what's been going on for a very long time. And for those old enough in the room to remember, and there are a few here, I have to say, you will know that ERP software has been around for a very, very long time. It was a single-tenanted suite of software aimed at bringing together departmental software into a single suite. So accounts payable was the same as accounts receivable. They had a general ledger, we had HR, we had supply chain eventually, and all those things. But it didn't understand what the world was doing, and the world was over the 80s, 90s, and 2000s was starting to extend the enterprise to both include the customer and their suppliers at all echelons. And that's what we have today. We have the ability through a confluence of technology and the need and the internet, in that we've got access to it, to deliver a multi-tenanted suite of software via the cloud, which is effectively, I don't know where my server is, right? But we can do that and allow us all to participate in a single instance of software, provided we solve a few things. So we had to go and start building out a framework to do that. So we needed the multi-tenanted suite of software that deals with this security and permissibility, i.e. I'm going to give Rick only the access to do what I need him to do in terms of our contractual relationship. And then Rick can use the same software to do that and more with whomever he gives permission to. We had to deal with that. We had to deal with uptime and disaster recovery and all of those types of things. And then we had to deploy it. And what we realized was that there's no point just doing supply chain in its isolation. It has to be done with logistics as part of that. And that's the solution that is available today. What we aim to do is we aim to make the warehouse operations so much smarter by knowing what's happening left and right of arc. Yeah? So we do that so that we all know that demand, supply, what we're trying to do always is harmonise those things so that we do it effectively and efficiently. So by allowing all the participants, and a 3PL sitting in the middle, operating as a 4PL in some cases, allows us to do that. End-to-end visibility is not the end game. I've got some slides that reflect that. Lots of information will make it available, but a control tower journey as a brand retailer looking, or a brand and or a retailer looking to have a view of their network, because they've got a virtual network, they just don't know it sometimes, right? Or where their stuff is and what their customers are demanding and what their suppliers are supplying, and what their 3PL's actually holding in their inventory. That's a journey starting from left to right, okay? But visibility is not the end game. The end game is to do everything more cost effectively and to keep your customer happy at the lowest possible cost. That's what you're trying to do. So it's visibility so that you can execute, make transaction changes, and if possible use artificial intelligence to actually get ahead of that. So avoid the adverse risk, avoid the adverse events. So if I can use algorithms and milestones to come together and tell me that yes, that shipment did not make it out of Hong Kong, now I've got to start moving stuff around from either other sources, and if it's a particular item I might have to fly it in. All those decisions you can apply through algorithms and artificial intelligence rather than having a human being involved day in, day out. The idea is to take the human being out and only apply the human being when there is something that cannot be solved. Yeah? So the things that we've put in there in terms of intelligence If we cannot solve it, bring a human being and start orchestrating the entire network. Now, we all know that there's not a greenfield site on the planet just about. It's all brownfield. People have got their ERPs, their legacy applications that they've developed themselves and love, their warehouse management systems and all the TMS systems, etc., that we know. So we're not ripping and replacing. What we're trying to do is placing over the top of that, where there is a good warehouse management system, leave it alone. Just make it smarter by telling it, and moving stuff optimally in and out. Same with your order management, same with your forecasting. If you can get a point of sales data into your network and communicate that with your suppliers, don't buy stuff that you can't ship. Don't buy don't place an order that can't physically be warehoused or received. Those types of decisions can be made when you actually put a control tower in place. So again, basic visibility, move through that, move through alerts, move through decision support, and ultimately try and run something autonomous where you've got lots of transactions happening and you've set the policies, you've made the decisions up front, and the solution should run with minimal intervention, and only promote those things for intervention and collaboration when you need to. For brands that are out there that are struggling with understanding their forecast to order, and which combines the inventory, inbound supply, and what the consumer is demanding, that's a service that SCLAA Logistics are going to be offering to this market in the very near future. But first and foremost, the first service is using our control tower, that end-to-end visibility that sometimes is really difficult to achieve.